swallowed up? Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming?
He will be exposed, and the filth will hit the newspapers in every country where his name has ever been famous, where his touch has ever been felt.
Have you not believed in what you seeing in your eyes? They tell you what it is and now you are surprised.
Welcome back to Media Mesh, where I give you my unapologetic opinion on everything from music, movies, news, reality TV, and so much more as we go down the rabbit hole. Now, this is the home for the intelligent dissection of social media. I always have to preface that. So keep this in mind, right? So before you comment, I want you to think intelligently about what you're going to say. But if you're new here, hey, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. We're going to get into something serious today. This woman right here has definitely been dropping some prophetic bombs. If you believe in prophecy, you know, whatever you, however you want to view that, that's up to you. But I do believe in that, right? There are some people who have the gift, right, of insight. So as much as corruption is going on in the church, there are still those who hear the voice of God. You know, some people may see things in the spirit realm. Some people may dream things. And then some people get a revelation. So let's listen to what she has to say. I think you're going to be blown away. Now, keep in mind, this was a year ago. Let's get into what this young lady has to say. Let's go.
The next part of the prophecy is called T.D. Jakes. T.D. Jakes is a homosexual and a pedophile. He has defiled minors. He has used boys willingly and against their will. He is brotherhood, fallen brotherhood, secret brotherhood. He will be exposed, and the filth will hit the newspapers in every country where his name has ever been famous, where his touch has ever been felt. This is a worldwide scandal. To the extent that he defiled, meaning to the extent that he abused and defiled, especially the young ones, let him be defamed. That means let the name that he has left behind in the earth be utterly destroyed. This is the judgment of the watcher speaking in heaven against this man's name and legacy. He will not have any legacy left. God says before this man dies, he will not have any legacy left. He will die fighting for the last shreds of his dignity and legacy. He will die fighting. Listen, those of you who sit on the fence. He will die fighting not for the mercy of God to be restored to him. What a terrible thing it is to lose the love, the favor, and the mercy of God. He will not die fighting for mercy to come back to him. God says he will die fighting for his name that he values above God. That is the Lord's assessment of him. He will battle in court. He will battle the press. He will battle his accusers. He will battle unsuccessfully to suppress evidence in a court of law. He will fight and say that certain tapes, certain text messages should not be admitted into evidence. He will use money, power, clout, and influence, but to no avail, says the Lord. He will not protect his ministry and empire. God says that the potter's house will fall. The potter's house and everybody in it will fall. And every single piece of it, the Lord has been saying, will come out and be admitted into evidence. Prepare the way of the Lord, for whatever has been done in darkness must come out, says the Most High of all flesh. I have given seats to men. I have given callings. I have given gifts. I have given them mentorship power. I have put my people under their care. Instead, they went to the dark side and they drank from the devil's cup. Yet I said, you cannot drink the cup of God and of devils. This is 1 Corinthians 10, 21 and 22. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the Lord's table and of the table of demons. Would we provoke the Lord to jealousy?
All right. Let's get to part
Next,
2.
there will be scandals among the high and the mighty. So I saw a row of thrones seated in high positions. Earthquake hit those thrones. They started to shake, and people began to fall out of the thrones in public and shameful falls. The Lord said that Bishop T.D. Jakes will have one of the biggest scandals of all time in the Christian church, one of the biggest shaming falls before God finally judges him in taking his life. The Lord said this man is not a straight man. He is not a heterosexual man. His name will be named by the people he has been with. His scandal will involve his sexual orientation, and God says that this is when people will finally see who they have been following with a lot of these pastors and spiritual leaders. So this prophecy came before the other one. This one is September 1st, that the Lord first said that on top of being a false prophet, on top of misleading people, on top of, he called it financial impropriety, which means that there is severe questions about what happens to money in the potter's house. He says that this man is a wolf in sheep's clothing, that this man is a Freemason, and that he is brotherhood. This is what the Lord revealed months ago in the false prophet's prophecy. But now in this live call, God brought out that this man is not interested in women, but is bent towards males. But not only that, has harmed underage youths and boys. And God says that this sex scandal will be named by the people he has been with. The males are going to bring out, he says, proof. The evidence this bishop will be fighting is hard evidence. And God says he will spend considerable time, considerable energy, considerable power, and considerable money to suppress that evidence so that it does not come out in the legal battles that will follow. But God said that we are going into an era where the evidence will get a chance to speak.
So as you can see from the title, Cassie gave video footage, USB drive, and Kim Porter's burner phone to the Alphabet Boys, exposing Mr. T.D. Jakes and more. And as you can see, T.D. Jakes definitely is a friend or spiritual leader for Mr. Diddy Combs, which is interesting company to keep. I do recall from the Bible, it says that, what fellowship does light have with darkness? And with the allegations surrounding Diddy, you would have thought that the Lord would have had a word from TD for Diddy Combs. I mean, what else is he there for? Right? It couldn't be possibly for any freak off parties. Come on now. No, there's no way. No way. But just want to talk about this really quick. And I understand that, I guess on Twitter, Mr. TD is using his power, influence, and money to get a lot of people banned. So, talking about this could be controversial to some, but I mean, he's no bigger than anyone else. It's a story. It could be false, could be 100% false, or it could be some truth to it. But I'm going to play a video in just a second. I just thought it was funny, actually. So, it just really had me laughing, to be honest with you. But, these people are not above reproach. And I'll give you a little bit more insight. So from time to time, I get dreams. And you probably don't know that. But, if you've been on the channel long enough, you learned that my perspective definitely is a bit slanted, right? It's not apologetic for most, but I'll share this with you. So I had a dream, and I was in, I would say, a room or a basement room or something of that nature. And it was just dark, no windows. And it was a few of us in the pit. So there was a room, and mind you, you can step down into this pit. It wasn't deep, but it was a pit nonetheless. It was lower for that. So the door is open, and T.D. Jakes walks through. This is a dream, mind you. So this is just a dream. So he walks through with his head held high, with a nice suit on, sharp, walks past all of us that's down in this little pit, walks over to this section, which is raised up, and you have a number of celebrities, a host of celebrities. I mean, they was dressed, the nicest gowns for the women. Dudes had the suits on, the jewelry, everybody was just decked out. But we could see them. So he walks right past us, people, on the lower level. All right. Next thing you know, the doors open again. It's Beyonce and Jay-Z. They do the same thing. Walk past us here in the middle, and they go to the level where all those other folks is at. All the celebrities and rich folks. And their names, I've seen them clear as day. There's more to the dream, but it doesn't really apply. But we'll just connect a few dots that we can. So when I woke up, I had to think about it. Well, what in the world do these people have in common? You got T.D. Jakes, a Christian preacher, and then you have Beyonce and Jay-Z. So 2 different worlds, one would assume. But the long and short of it is, T.D. Jakes is allegedly a Freemason. Go figure. So is Jay-Z. So these people are basically all in cahoots. They're all on the same team. They're in the brotherhood, right? So it makes sense that all these people kind of flock together and look down on us little people. So when he walked by, he had this very pious look on his face, because he didn't turn our direction. But you could see he wanted to go where he was more comfortable on a higher level with other people in his class. So now we have these allegations that's coming out about him. Now you see that, Christian Keys came out and inferred that Tyler Perry was making advances on him. You have Cassie being exposed. You have a lot of different things that's coming to the light. And the lesson here is we're never supposed to put our confidence in man. Man will let you down. That goes for women too, right? These are just people. Horrible representatives for God, I'll tell you that. So I do often wonder, why this stuff is allowed to go on, but, it's reasons beyond my comprehension. But clearly these people understand something that the average person don't, right? Because if they truly believed in God to this degree or to a high degree, they wouldn't do what they do. So it makes you really wonder, what's the reason why they feel so confident in doing and participating in activities that does not represent their God. Okay. So for the most part, this has just become a business. And, you have power, you have prestige, and you have tax-free money. So, of course, when situations arises where they want you to get, jabbed, hey, T.D. Jakes got to come out on front. Tyler Perry has to come out on front. All these paid people, who quote unquote represent black folk have to come and do their due diligence when it's time. Or basically, that's a bad choice of words. They have to come and represent for the powers that be. So we shouldn't be surprised. Okay. I mean, it's disappointing. Absolutely. Because if you think about all the lives this man has touched with his messages, and to now be brought into scandal, which according to this one prophetess, if you believe in prophetess, okay, if you believe that, there is one out there who had spoke this word, I'd say maybe a year ago, that this was going to come to pass. So I guess it's just a matter of time. So let's get to the funny video. I just think this is hilarious. Hang tight.
Swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and swallowed?
Swallowed up. Have you ever been in a time where you were swallowed? You had been swallowed. Who is swallowing what? Who's swallowing? You know what I'm saying? Swallowing what, sir? Good sir. Yeah, explain to me who is swallowing, because are we supposed to infer that we've been swallowed up by God in God's presence? I don't think that's what, I could be wrong. What do I know? I don't think that's the kind of swallowing that he's talking about. Not according to these allegations. I think he was having somebody else was swallowing, and it sure wasn't the Lord. I'll tell you that. So this is very suspect things. Got a few other funny videos. Let me show y'all another one.
Jakes has actually 3 sons and 2 daughters. We know Cora. We know Sarah Jakes. This is Jermaine Jakes. Fruity Loop. Forgive me, God. And then, hold on. And then this is his other son, Jamar Jakes. And the other son, he's the older one. He's married with a wife and kids. So he's not really ever seen. But those two, I'm not able to say anything, and I'm never speechless. So God is telling me to shut up. So, yeah.
All right, interesting. So he has 2 sons that are part of the community. I guess being a pastor, in general, 9 times out of 10, you have the worst kids. You just be like that. As a general rule, right? So this is his sons. Interesting. Very interesting. And when you think about what he's being accused of, you kind of wonder, well, what happened here? Is this something maybe they've seen, been exposed to? Who knows? But as it's been in the news, one of his daughters, she married a guy who's in jail right now for essaying one of the kids. Go figure. This is a very disturbed household. So that does make you kind of question, all this preaching you're doing, but what kind of impact is it having on the people that's most important? Your children, right? It's, hey, it's what it is. Yeah. So, hey, we don't know. We can only speculate. But like I said, this prophetess said that he's going to fight basically to the end to rectify his name as best he can. But the truth's coming out there. It's coming out there. And it's just so sad when you think about all the people that have sent their money, who've come to the Potter's house, and people who have just lifted these people up and made gods of men, and only to be disappointed. Now, some people definitely will not believe it until he's in court, until the videos or whatever evidence that these young men have surfaces. And then what do you do then? Right? So for me, it doesn't make any sense at all, because when you make it to these levels of success and fame, you can have whatever it is that you want to have, whatever experience you want to have, you can have it. The key is you just want to do it with people that's willing, right? Make them sign the NDA and, keep it somewhat clean. Just do your thing. But this type of rumor should not be associated with a man of God. You just got to keep it 1,000. And the whole Tyler Perry thing with Christian Keys, I don't know who's really surprised by that. Yeah, that's kind of evident. I think most people, if you just look at it objectively, you could probably make the assumption that he was of that persuasion. So his problem was, in my opinion, power. So if Christian Keys is not about that life and you've already approached him on it, okay, the first time, hey, maybe you didn't know. But when somebody makes it clear, listen, that's not my lifestyle, I don't get down like that, most times you're supposed to just leave it alone. But nope, allegedly, not Tyler. And Christian Keys pointed out, in his post, he said, you guys, you hit the nail on the button. So while he couldn't come out and say Tyler's name directly, he definitely said in the comments, you guys called it out. So, it is kind of what it is. So I think at this point, people really need to start looking inward, because that's where your spiritual growth is going to come from, is from the inside. When you look at these people on the outside, they're messed up. Like all of us, we all messed up. We all got issues. So there's no perfect person that exists. And so if we can learn to just take the message and try to separate it from the messenger, it's hard to do, but it doesn't mean that you can't get a good word. Just like right now, for some people, I might be saying something that could be of value to you, but don't put me on a pedestal, right? I'm just a person. I'm no better than nobody else. I have my flaws and faults, and I'm just giving my opinion. But when you go to churches, I don't know how many people are going to still be going there after this, but, you just have to learn to take the message, because a lot of times there is a message for you. And it's things that he has said. I can say, he's one heck of a preacher. I'll say it a better way. He's one hell of a preacher. So he knows the word, right? But even, I guess they say the devil knows the word too. So we can't really get caught up in that. But a lot of his stuff is motivational. A lot of stuff is positive. But you have to just kind of leave it there. When you start idolizing people and really looking at their lifestyle and being envious or even impressed by them, you're on the wrong track. They're just people. And that's it. So I'll leave you with this.
Have you ever been swallowed up? Have you gone through a time of swallowing where everything was overwhelming and swallowed up? Have you ever been swallowed up?
Listen, guys, I don't know if you've ever been swallowed, but I do want you to make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And you don't have to swallow to participate on the channel. Okay. So if you like the message, thank you for watching. Until next time, peace and blessings.